Hello, you guys. So my name is Emily. Welcome back to the channel. I'm super excited that you clicked on this video today and that we get to share this time with one another. So today I want to talk to you guys about some recommendations that I have for historical fiction. I love historical fiction. I love learning about history, but in a fictitious way, if that makes sense. I learn so much by reading historical fiction. It's definitely one of my favorite genres. So I have 9 books, but 5 different authors because I couldn't make up my mind. And so you just get kind of a plethora of books from the same authors. And there are so many others. These are just the ones that I had accessible on my shelves right now so that I could get this video filmed and up and etc. Okay, the first one I have talked about previously in my January wrap up, so I won't spend a lot of time, and it's in a vlog too. I don't know when that's coming out. It'll be out eventually this month. But I won't talk a lot about it, but it's definitely worth mentioning. Things We Didn't Say by Amy Lynn Green. This is a historical fiction, World War II. This woman works at a German POW camp in Minnesota. It's all set through letters and articles. There's this overarching court case that we are trying to figure out as we go. The ending is just beautiful, absolutely fantastic. I had to mention it because it's now one of my favorites. Okay, so let's start with Heather B. Moore. So Heather B. Moore is a local to me author. I have met her. She is just a delight of a human, but her historical fictions are some of my favorite. The first one that I want to talk about is The Paper Daughters of Chinatown. This is the first one that I've read from her, and it is so beautiful and such an incredible premise. It is dual timeline-ish, and it is based on true events, a true story, a true person. At least one of the timelines is. And it's based in California, San Francisco, during the late 19th century. And when this is about women from China who were brought over to the United States under false pretenses, and they were sold into precarious situations. It is heart-wrenching, but it doesn't go too deep. Like, you understand what's happening and what these sweet Chinese women are going through, but this book brings hope as well, because our main character, our main woman, Donaldina, she runs a home for women who are getting out of this ring of, prostitution and slavery and things like that. Truly incredible. I loved it. And like I said, it doesn't go to a scary, how do I say this? It doesn't go too deep. I am a very tender-hearted person, and I was nervous going into it, just knowing the background and the premise, but the knowledge that you gain from it is fantastic. It doesn't go into a scary place, if I'm making sense. Anyway, definitely one to pick up. There is a teen version that she's made. I haven't picked that one up, but definitely one. Definitely one. Okay, my next one is called Under the Java Moon by Heather B. Moore. This is set in World War II, on the island of Java in the Pacific. This was something that I have never even heard of. It was about a Dutch settlement in, is it the Philippines? It's close. Anyway, somewhere right there. And it's dual timeline-ish. It follows the main family and then the father, who gets sent off to war and becomes a prisoner of war for the Japanese. And during the Japanese occupation of Java. There it is. I remembered. And it was incredible to see just how these prisoners of war were treated, that there were nicer guards and then absolutely vile guards. It was eye-opening and very, very poignant. And again, based on a true story, true events. She has on her website, I'll see if I can link it, if I can find it again, but an interview with the main girl, Rita. And so it was, oh my goodness, it was beautifully done, beautifully done. Okay, my next one by Heather B. Moore is The Slow March of Light. There it is. So this is, I want to say World War II, 1961. So no, this is Cold War. And an American, he gets drafted and he gets put into like undercover in West Berlin during that occupation of the Soviets and the communists and everything. But then he gets caught as a spy. And so once again, based on a true story, it follows his capture and how he was treated during his time in prison and as this POW and his release. And truly incredible. Just the positivity that he kept in his brain during that horrible, hard time was absolutely stunning, and just a good reminder that during trials we can still be, positive and find joy in hard times. And I loved it. Absolutely loved it. Okay, so those are definitely on the tougher to read side, if that makes sense. Okay, the next one that I just read this last year, really good. It's called Flames of Anarchy by Jerry Barrowman. This is during the Teddy Roosevelt's America, which I have never really read anything historical fiction-wise in that realm. And so it follows Theodore Roosevelt as he's the president, but also different things that happen of people trying to overtake the government and, just all of these different things based on true events. And it says right here, in the heart of Theodore Roosevelt's America, a storm of anarchy threatens the nation, leading to a gripping tale of betrayal, fear, and the birth of the FBI. So good. Oh my goodness, I loved it. He does get a little descriptive in some things, not bad descriptive, like descriptive of scenes, if that makes sense. So like the scene of where they're at, he gets a little bit descriptive, and sort of the setup a little bit descriptive. But other than that, it gets a little bit repetitive, just a smidgen. Other than that, so fantastic. Really, really good. Okay, the next one is The Opera Sisters by Marianne Monson. This follows two sisters during World War II in, I can't remember what, it says England. I thought they were in a different country in Europe, but they help Jews smuggle all of their artifacts out. So like different jewelry and different papers and different things like that. I'm remembering it now. So they're from England, but they love the opera, and so did Hitler. And so in Germany, they have all these amazing operas. And so these sisters somehow get invited to all of these operas, and they become part of this like underground network that brings paperwork to Jews to get them out of Nazi-occupied Germany during World War II. But then they also like smuggle different things, like I said, jewelry and just special things to people to get them out of the country, to keep them away from the Nazi regime. It was really fascinating and a fun, to use that word lightly, I suppose, twist on a World War II novel. I really, really enjoyed it. Okay, my next author, I have 3 books from her, and she is one of my favorite historical fiction authors. Her name is Rebecca Connolly. And this is probably my least favorite that I'm going to tell you about, but I thought it was still worth mentioning. So this is called Hidden Yellow Stars. So this is about a underground network, very similar to the Opera Sisters, but set in Belgium. And they were trying to help Jewish children. Is that this one? Yes, Jewish children escape from their situations. So these families were like, you know, we can't help the parents, but we can help these children. And so it follows 2 different women and their story of taking these children to either, you know, monasteries or to live with nuns or different places to hide Jewish children. And working with children, I love that. I will say that it gets a little repetitive throughout the book just because it's the same thing over and over again, but it talks about how they have to use specific code names, not only for the women and the workers, but also all the children, and then also for the people housing all of these kids. And one person can't know what another person's code name is, because if they were to get captured and, you know, questioned, they don't want to give up any secrets. And that part was really, really cool. And the premise again was wonderful. So that's a good one. Okay, my next one, very similar lines, Under the Cover of Mercy. Yes, Under the Cover of Mercy. This one is also in Belgium, in Brussels, November 1914. So this is actually during World War I. This group of nurses hides prisoners of war. And so they make sure that in their hospital, you know, paperwork goes missing. And so then this POW for the Allied forces can escape. And then it just talks about different resistance members. And this book made me cry. And I don't cry very easily through books. It's very few and far between. I feel things, but I don't cry. This one made me cry. It was beautiful. And then my favorite from Rebecca Connolly is A Brilliant Night of Stars and Ice. This is a dual timeline during the sinking of the Titanic. So it follows Titanic members, but it also follows, I always want to say Britannica. It's the Carpathia, which is the other ship that, through the divine providence, got them the distress message. No other ship in the vicinity got it. It was late at night. The crew member that was on call at that time was like, oh, that's weird. I wonder if I should take this to the captain. And so he just randomly does. And it's like, hey, we got this. What do you think? And then when they dug a little deeper, they realized the Titanic was sinking. All of these people were going into this cold, frigid water, and they raced to go save them. And so the heroes on that Carpathia, oh my gosh, it was so incredible, because you follow the heroes, but then you also follow the people who were having to figure out how to survive in this cold water after the drowning of, or the sinking of the Titanic. Truly fantastic. When I met her recently, and I just told her I had to stop reading a couple of times and take a deep breath, because she puts you in that scenario and you're like, what would I do if I saw water coming in through my cabin wall or my cabin door? And I can't even imagine. I can't even imagine going through that. It's incredible. So anyway, definitely one to look into if you are interested in historical fiction, Titanic, clean reads. Love it. So, oh, let's see if I can pick all these up. These are, oh, heavy. Hold on. It's coming. Dun, 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 dun. Okay. So all of these books will be linked in the description. And please, if you have any other historical fictions that you think I might like, please let me know. I love this genre and I love reading about history in general. So I will see you guys in another video real soon. Bye.